Marcus, can you hear me? There you are. Look at beautiful background.
Yes, I'm here. I just picked a towel because I want to jump into the lake. It became quite hot here, so I'm sorry I wasn't there.
No problem. We made a couple of announcements, so that's all good. And now, glad that you're here and glad that you take time away from the lake, on your boat at least, close to the lake, in the lake, and you can enjoy the lake in a couple of minutes. But of course, we want to hear some news from you. I know some of you have been on the earlier call today, so some of you already heard the great study and the great information. So, Marcus, I just hand it over to you, and please share with us your findings over the last couple of days and weeks.
Yes, thank you, Frank. And I'm also greeting everyone who is here with us today on this Frequency Friday, already the second Frequency Friday in the last 7-8 days. But there's so much going on. And yeah, we have a beautiful summer here in Germany. But the last day, two and a half days, it was just raining. So even today it was raining. Now the sun is coming out, and I will still take advantage of it. So, but even it's a great summer, I was very engaged in the last weeks with so many research groups which are going on parallelly, and I'm myself sometimes losing overview and I'm so happy about it that on so many levels research is going on. We have a clinical research group, and they just surprised me yesterday by sending me the data of one of the last studies we have done. Even now we are doing so many studies parallelly with Healy. We have done one with the Healy coil. We have completed the Healy coherence study, which soon will be published, I think 1st of July. No, that's 31st of July it's going to be published. So there's so much going on that I'm losing overview. But yesterday we got results of one of the studies which we have done in the last 6 weeks. And this was a great surprise because it's the first study we are doing in recent times about the resonance module. There's really two slightly distinct departments within the Healy. One part of it's frequencies for your life. And that's really the main way how we want to address people, because to tell them how fundamental frequencies are, and that if you're choosing the right frequencies, what can be achieved by this. We all have experienced it within the last years, what Healy can do. But there's the other aspect of the information field. Of course, the information field is always active whenever the Healy is choosing its frequencies. So that's an indirect way how we're using the information field, by analyzing in the information field through the physical noise, quantum noise generator, which frequency will be next. So that's already an integration of information field and frequency. But there's this other aspect, the other part, which is the Healy Resonance app. And the Healy Resonance app is directly analyzing the information field and directly optimizing in the information field. So that's a more hidden aspect of Healy. So we have done, it's called an RCT, a randomized controlled trial within the last 6 weeks with 300 participants. We always like to choose 300 because it's a good number. It's still a good number if you divide it in 3 arms. So this division of the 300 participants, which were chosen randomly into 3 arms, is again randomly chosen. Therefore, it's called a randomized controlled trial. Controlled means that one of the 3 arms is every day, but not using the resonance module. So we could see how they perform compared to the control group, which didn't use the Healy at all. So that's really an interesting way how we are putting our studies. They are randomized controlled trials. They are 3-armed, and we're having always 300 participants. So I like to present you the results, which really surprising me reached me yesterday evening so that I could still include them here. So this is the study design. And in the resonance group, people were doing within 14 days two times an analysis. On the first day, they were doing an analysis with a resonance module, and then they could see the results. That's also important, because just becoming conscious about what has been picked from the information field, the content will make certain things conscious. So this is already a reflection which changes the relationship between the conscious and the unconscious and makes a difference. But then from the first to the seventh day, the results were within an optimization list vibrated into the information field. And then on day number 8, another refreshment of the analysis was done, and the same procedure was repeated until the 14th day. So we had twice we had an analysis in the information field, and for 14 days, every day once or twice, the resulting optimization list was vibrated into the information field. Second group, the Healy frequency group, was choosing 1 or 2 programs from Bioenergetic Harmony 1 and 2. It was up to the participant to choose the programs as they like, or they felt they needed, and then these 2 programs were applied once or twice daily with the electrodes, so that frequencies actually go through the body. And the control group didn't do any application for 14 days. Again, we had 3 types of questionnaires. One, the WHO5, which will ask for the positive resources of well-being. The second, the MIMOP, was asking for the concerns, the burdens which obstructing well-being. And so the people were listing the most 3 disturbing concerns on their well-being in the moment of answering the first questionnaire. And then, as it was a pre-post design of this randomized control trial, after 14 days, will answer the same again. So here are the results. And this was a very beautiful surprise. Here you see the 3 arms of the trial. Look at the control group. This was the initial questionnaire on well-being, and this was a well-being questionnaire after 2 weeks. So not doing anything for your well-being is not a good strategy. Again, we see here that well-being was reduced after this 2 weeks, whereas in the 2 active groups, which actively used either the resonance or the Bioenergetic Harmony 1 and 2 frequency programs, they had a significant, very significant increase in the well-being. Here in the resonance group, it's 4 points almost, and here in the Healy group, it's 3 points, compared to a decrease of almost 3 points in the control group. What a difference. The statistical analysis of this, where we find out if this is a small or a large effect, according to this coherence D effect size measure parameter, for the resonance arm, results in a factor 1.45, which is on a scale from 0 to open, a very, very large. I'm sorry, a very large. There is no very, very large, but it's actually really large, because normally with complementary methods in studies, there is a result between 0.4 and 0.6, between small and middle effects. Large effects are from 0.8 to 1.0, but beyond 1, like 1.45 is really beyond 1, this is a very large effect. So we have a very large effect for the resonance, but also for the Healy frequency applications, which was slightly smaller. This doesn't mean that now you should just focus on the resonance applications. No, not, because it's on a different level. I think one of the last Frequency Fridays I have spoken about the difference, the 3 different modules within Healy: the electric frequencies, the coil frequencies, and the resonance vibrations. And they are working on different type of subtle levels. Coil is in the middle on the quantum potential. On the electric level, there is the frequencies directly going through the body in terms of electrical current, and the resonance is going deeper, directly working in the information field. So that's a very encouraging result. It shows us that working with the resonance module is really a good idea to support your applications on the frequency level. We have the second direction of the second survey is going on the basis of the MIMOP. MIMOP is an evaluation of how strongly you feel your concerns obstructing your well-being. So here we want to see a decrease, because an increase would mean a stronger burden. So that's interesting, because here in the control group, before, this is the blue column, we have an initial level of concern of around 20.4, which is quite high. But then during doing nothing for 2 weeks, there is a decrease of around 2 points. But that's normal, because something which disturbs you today in 2 weeks might not necessarily disturb you anymore. There might be new or different disturbances, but naturally things have some tendency to solve even if you do nothing. So that's interesting. But the 2 groups using the resonance every day, or using the Healy frequency programs from Bioenergetic Harmony 1 and 2 every day, have a very significantly stronger decrease on this sense of being burdened by concerns. And we see here around 6 points of decrease, and with the resonance group we see around 7 points of decrease. That's again statistically relevant, but here we have but we have a smaller effect. The effect on the Cohen's d effect size measurement scale, it's 0.77 for the resonance and 0.61 for the Healy frequency group. So this is in the middle, on the stronger side of a middle large effect, which is still very good. And it is good. It is a good result if we consider that we just have a 2 weeks intervention. But this we have already seen in the other 2 randomized controlled trials, which we have already closed within the next, completed within the last 2-3 months, that the MIMOP is reacting less strongly on the Healy interventions than the WH05. But then the people were asked, how strongly do they evaluate the success of their applications in terms of how much did you reach your goals? So the control group 11.8, this is something like the baseline, but then if you look at the resonance and at the Healy frequency, they again show a very large effect of 1.43 and 1.2. So this is a different way of asking for the MIMOP, which we have seen before, because they were asked how successful they felt they were to reduce the burdens of the concerns. So here it's put together in one table. We have a good results in all three surveys. Strongest is on the well-being, increase of well-being, but here the self-assessment is also very high, and the MIMOB we have a middle large effect. So I'm really happy to be able to present this here today. And just today we had a research meeting with our clinical research team, and we are in the process of preparing 8 or 9, or partially also conducting 8 or 9 studies, partially for our medical certification in different countries, but partially also on the bioenergetic aspect. So I really love this work. I really like to develop newer and newer designs to really test our programs and see how they perform in the real world. So thanks again for everyone who participates in the studies, and I hope this inspires you in the future also to participate if we ask you again for something interesting. And believe me, there's really some very, very interesting studies coming up. I don't want to talk about it yet now because we have so much new developments in terms of programs and in terms of new frequency programs for actual issues. So before we get them on the market, we will get them tested, always in such a randomized controlled trial. So this was some surprising news, which I'm very, very happy about it. And I believe that those who are watching today, they don't really need proofs that Healy works, because most of us have our own experiences, and we have seen so many people using Healy, having wonderful experiences, having great experience with it. But still, it's good if you use a scientific, objective way to quantify the effect. So this is the first type of news I wanted to share with you today, but there's something also very interesting which I want to share in the second part, and it's connected now not directly to Healy but indirectly to the Healy, because in the Healy product world, Healy is on the one side, which does interventions with frequencies and on the level of the information field, and additionally we have the Healy Watch. I'm wearing the Healy Watch regularly, and it's helping me in so many different ways. For example, I'm doing workout for around 30 minutes a day, and I always have it with me during workout to see in the end a report on the workout, so how long time I spent in which phase, and how did my heart rate respond. Afterwards, I do heart rate variability measurements with the special function where you place your finger 90 seconds on the sensor and you get an assessment with 6 very interesting parameters. And then it gives me an idea what can be the next Healy program to use. So this is really beautiful way how the Healy Watch and the Healy works. And in the center, there is the Healy Advisor app and the Healy Watch app. So many things has happened since we originally launched the Healy Watch a little prematurely in the end of 2019, where we were a little too unexperienced, but we used the last 1.5 years to improve the hardware, to improve the firmware, and to improve the Healy Watch app. And actually, we have done a complete redesign and reprogramming of the Healy Watch app. And now I want to just show you a little some features. This is still the existing app, and we have improved it a lot. A large team was working on it in the last months, and I want to show you some highlights. So if you have a Healy Watch, you will have this app. Always update it because lots of things are happening there. And those who purchase a Healy app, Healy Watch now, they will get this app. And you will see in the next month there will be quite an amazing Healy Watch promotion. So it's really worth looking at it now. So here, this is like the dashboard where you have an overview over the functions like the HRV. Sleep quality is so extremely important for health, but also about your workout and calories which you have burned and heart rate. But there is a very special function, and this function is a measurement where you can choose an HRV measurement where you can choose to do an analysis for 90 seconds or for 5 minutes. 90 seconds is a quick one. I'm normally using this one because I'm not very patient. But if you want to have a more accurate analysis, take 5 minutes. So anyway, if you just take 90 seconds, the screen will look like this. You see the signals of the different sensors, which we have improved a lot over the last 1.5 months. You see always your heart rate and also your heart rate variability displayed while doing the measurement. But then when the measurement is finished, when it's completed, here you will get an overview on 6 important parameters. And on the basis of these 6 important parameters, like the heart frequency, the average, then the HRV, which is measuring the variability of your heart frequency. And that's a very, very important soft indicator for our general well-being and stress balance and so on. It's considered more and more in the literature of accessing holistic health because our heart is is really in the center of our body. So the heart has its own intelligence and it has its own endocrine system with its own hormones and neural system. So the upper part of the body and the lower part of the body, they are both working and influencing the heartbeat. So you can see a lot while analyzing it in 2 ways. So we have the heart rate variability, we have a stress index, and here down there are 3 very interesting additional parameters. So on the basis of these 6 parameters, if they are too low or if they are too high or if they balanced in the center, you get a recommendation of Healy programs, Healy frequency programs, which fit the best to this measurement. And you can do it the next days. This is a wonderful way to connect the real body measurement of the Healy Watch with using the Healy to help you to improve the parameters. So that's one of the core functions. And you will see in the next months there will be a great promotion including the Healy Watch, which is really worth to go for because it will also activate those who get it to every day do a measurement every day and apply 1 or 2 of these programs within the next 24 hours. Do this every day for 2 weeks. This is our challenge, and see what happens. And we will document what is happening in this challenge with another pre-post trial. So those who participate in this challenge, they will actually, as a reward, will have a very special VIP webinar with Dr. Volker Meissner, a great expert on HRV measurement and treatments, and myself. So that's something which Frank will talk a little bit more about, what's going to happen in July after the big turn of our digital systems. That's something else. In this app, you have also very much improved training function for breathing. Breath is one of the most important frequencies in our body, in our life. In the brain, there are important frequencies, the brain waves. The heart is very important, the heartbeat, but breath is also regular, it has frequencies. So if you breathe with certain frequencies, as it's given in these programs, you can really improve your well-being. There's a lot of studies about it. So here you find 3 different kinds of breathing interventions for 10 minutes only. Give it once a day, 10 minutes, or even better, twice a day, and see what's happening. That's also we can do it such a breathing challenge later. So that's what everyone who gets a Healy Watch, there's much more about it, but I showed you some highlights. Everyone who's getting a Healy Watch now or has already Healy Watch now has this existing app. But for September, October, you will get automatically an update to the completely newly programmed app, which will have a different design and which will give you a much deeper insight by having a much more elaborate analysis of the heart rate variability. In the old version, we have the heart rate variability, the heart rate, and the stress index. Here we have altogether 17 different parameters of your well-being related to different aspects of your body, mind, and soul balance, starting with an overall parameter of your balance and then going into body, mind, and soul, and then going deeper and deeper. So I don't want to go into this now, just show you that it's really worth to start with using Healy Watch now, because we are constantly working on improving it. And then in autumn, we will also have a coach, a HRV coach based on this. So this is all things going on, but the Healy Watch is the basis of it. So July will be a good month to get a Healy Watch if you don't, or if your customers don't have it already. So that's what I like to talk about here today. There's much more to come, but I think on the next Frequency Friday, you will have some more surprises. So thank you for listening, and I will give the word back to Frank.
Thank you very much, Marcus, for sharing these great news with us. And let me just add to the Healy Watch. I often get the question, but the Apple Watch can do this, and the Galaxy Samsung Watch can do that. We never wanted to compete with these big producers of those watches, because our watch has a very, very different USP. Our watch, when you have an Apple Watch, you can do an analysis, and then what do you do with this analysis? What do you do with the information? In our watch, there is a solution for this. We measure, or we have these steps. We measure, we analyze, and then you get a recommendation based on that measurement and analysis on what to do. You have a real call to action, what you can do to improve what you have measured before. And that's our USP, not to be as good as an Apple Watch or whatever watches they are, because they cannot do what we can do with our watch. So thank you very much, Marcus, for joining. I hope you enjoy your swim in the lake now.
Sun is coming and going, but I will still jump in. I think the lake is warm.
Okay. Take care. Have a good time. Thank you. Bye-bye, Marcus.
Bye-bye.